So if there's a message in this movie is like, we better figure this out. Like, Earth has got some problems, we better figure it out. And I think that's very relatable too. It's not, we're not preaching, but it's emotionally what is being communicated.
I would like to start by saying that the Transformers story is about honor, adaptation, and family, finding a family and a home in the most unexpected place. But I think one of the most beautiful messages in this movie is the idea that don't matter who you are, you mean the world to someone out there, like Elena and his dad and Noah and his brother. So this is a question for both of you. What was the emotional part of the story that you feel more connected with through your characters?
I think I feel most connected to the fact that she gets to live this wild dream. She loves artifacts, she loves researching, and there's moments with it where they go into caves and things, and she says things like, wow, I always wondered what it would be like to X, Y, and Z, and here I am feeling the same exact way. As a kid, I always wanted to act, and I watched the first movie and said, man, I have to do something like that. And so here I am being like, wow, I always wondered what it would be like to do X, Y, and Z, to be here talking about a movie like Transformers, and now it's happening. So I get sentimental thinking about that and honoring Brooklyn, East New York, where I'm from, and getting to do it with Anthony.
It's really special to, I think for me, that theme of showing them who you are, showing where you're from, like embrace what your culture is, where your family's from, embrace the person that's inside of you, right? The real you, not the person you're trying to be for people. Like, I think, or the person that you're not, like really focusing on who you actually are, I think is really, really special. In reference to my character and him actually finding himself in this movie, I think that he doesn't really know. He's really lost in the beginning. As someone put it very eloquently, he's a bit of a loser, is what somebody said. So
we'll never forget it.
And I'll never forget. And then, so it's nice that we see him kind of come out of that.
There is a darkness coming.
Me gusta mucho tu personaje por una razón principal que siento que es genial y que no aparece en otras películas, es que ahora los autobots y los maximals interactúan con su entorno y responden de acuerdo a eso, ¿no? Llevan años viviendo en la Tierra, algunos interactúan con los humanos, entonces tenían que involucrarse en las dinámicas. Creo que eso se refleja un poco en un pequeño detalle que es el acento, ¿no? Entonces yo siempre desde niña preguntaba, ¿por qué todo sucede en Estados Unidos y por qué todos hablan inglés? ¿No? ¿Por qué no se involucran en otras cosas? Y me gustaría saber qué piensas de eso respecto a tu personaje.
Ay, muchas gracias, Greta, y saludos a todos en Sopitas, y gracias por la entrevista. Tienes toda la razón y me agrada mucho lo que preguntas, porque sí es cierto, o sea, los tiempos cambian, cada vez hay más diversidad, más multiculturalidad, cada vez hay más cuates que se parecen a mí y pueden ser escocés. La diversidad varía, ¿no? Ya vivimos tiempos distintos, entonces creo que una manera de platicarlo a través de los Transformers, que yo desde niño jugaba con los Transformers y para mí por eso es muy especial ser parte de esta historia. Pues sí, ¿no? Los Maximals que siempre andaban acá y los Autobots ya no andaban acá, pues ahora se juntan y creo que también es una manera distinta de contar la historia. Estamos en Nueva York, nos vamos a Perú, me toca interpretar el primer Autobot latino, que también es un orgullo y estoy muy agradecido con Steven y los productores que pensaran en mí. Lleva mucha responsabilidad porque, pues sí, ser mexicano y que se note, ¿no? Y también les agradezco que hayan mantenido muchas expresiones, que se pegó el Wheeljack y dice ay, 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 entonces que se note con ganas y sí, creo que es algo muy importante y creo que a través de contar historias creo que podemos hacer cambios y pues uno hace su granito de arena también.
I'm pretty sure that the kids will love Transformers Rise of the Beast because, the special effects looks amazing and it's very funny and the action sequences are great. But as an adult, at least in my experience, I was having a great time because all of those attributes, but also because I care about these characters, I interested in knowing the group conflict,
Yes.
but also the individual conflict. So
Yes.
you are saying something very interesting, because I think this movie is more like the nature versus nurture.
Yeah, yes, yeah. I think it's also like the real world, which is our cultures are having a hard time working together. And so if there's a message in this movie is like, we better figure this out. Like Earth has got some problems, we better figure it out. And I think that's very relatable too. It's not, we're not preaching, but it's emotionally what is being communicated.
And it's this idea that the Autobots and the Maximals have been living on Earth since like a lot of time. So they need to interact. They need to take place in these dynamics, in these conflicts, in this like human
Yeah.
situation. And we can see that in the movie. So I think it's great.
And what I love is that the Maximals trust humans at this moment, and Optimus does not. You know, and that's really interesting.
And that is related because of the cultural
Yep.
topic that you
Yes.
present in this movie. For
Yeah.
example, in Latin America
Yep.
and the ancestral, yes?
Yeah, and that's part of what part of the reason we like to go to places that have an ancient quality like Machu Picchu or the pyramids in Egypt is that it reminds you of time, and it reminds you of how long humanity's been here. And in this case, I think one of my most favorite moments is when Primal speaks Quechua to the native indigenous people, and that also speaks to, it feels like an ancient language. It feels like a bond that is over time, you know, and I think that has a really profound effect on the movie, I think.
Transformer franchise was more about the human journey during this gigantic conflict. And I think that the Autobots and the Decepticons were like the second story in these movies. But since Bumblebee and now with this movie, we can understand the Transformers as characters with their own personalities, with their own arc, you know? So I think it's great. So how did you manage to find a balance between all of these group characters without saying, oh, this is more important, oh, we need to focus our attention on this character?
No, that's spot on. I think that was a goal from the jump. I mean, as a fan, and I can also hear the other fans too, wanting more of the robot story. I think the trick with that is making sure people can connect with him and that they feel human. And so for me, it was diving deep into Optimus Prime, and because he was like one of the focal points of this whole thing. He wanted to save the Autobots and save his people. And then when that conflicted with Noah's agenda, which was I just want to save my people, then it kind of balanced out the film in a way. You know, you have to track both of these two characters, and then the Maximals be kind of like the centerpiece, that bridge between the gap of humans and the Autobots, because they've been here before. So it felt like it all had like a little natural sort of trajectory once we started to place the pieces in there. But I think a big piece was making sure that there is conflict, because unlike other Transformers movies, Bumblebee and Charlie become friends really quick. You know, Sam Witwicky and Autobots become friends really quick. So for us, it was like, let's slow it down and let's find a natural progression. And with that natural progression, it balances out itself in terms of characters.
Yeah, it was all a dream.